In this video, I'm going to tell you guys 5 things you must know as a freelance programmer. Right after college, my friend Cole Hastings and I started a freelance programming company where we went through the whole process of getting clients and working on a bunch of different projects. Throughout this process, there was a bunch of different roadblocks and things that we had to learn in order for our company to be successful. And with the job market being so competitive right now, I think it's a good time to make this video for those of you looking into freelance programming as a way to not only develop your skills, improve your resume, but also earn some income. The first thing that you have to know as a freelance programmer is how to brand yourself as a developer. You need to think about what skills do you currently have and what kind of things do you want to work on. Do you want to do web development, mobile development, some web scraping projects, some data science? And do you currently have the skills to take on freelance programming projects related to these topics? Whatever it is you're interested in or want to work on, you need to have some kind of portfolio to showcase your skills and past projects, whether those are personal or professional. This is often going to be one of the first things that clients look at to see if you're credible. In addition to having a freelance programming website, you'll also want to sign up on freelance programming platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, or People Per Hour. For most people, these freelance programming platforms are going to be the places that you do find most of your clients at. And of course, it's also great to make social media accounts on platforms like LinkedIn or Twitter where you can market yourself as a freelance programmer. The more information there is out there online demonstrating your skill set, the more credible you become to potential clients. The second thing you'll need to know as a freelance programmer is how do you get clients? And there is a lot of ways to get clients nowadays, including your professional network, your personal network, freelancing platforms, social media marketing. And as you get clients, you'll obviously want to strive for successful collaborations in hopes that they're recurring clients and give you more opportunities and projects, or your work spreads through word of mouth. It's really important as you work as a freelance programmer to build good relationships with your clients and maintain a good professional reputation. When it comes to social media, I see a lot of new developers all the time joining programming communities. It's pretty easy to get involved in them on platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and it leads to opportunities in a lot of cases. When it comes to freelancing platforms, in a lot of cases they work differently. Some of the times you're going to be applying to freelance programming project listings that are posted, and it's going to depend a lot on your profile that you currently have, because after each project you will receive some kind of feedback or rating that other potential clients could see. If you're a beginner, there's tons of small scale projects posted every 10 minutes on these platforms, and I highly recommend starting off with smaller projects and then building up your profile over time. When applying to these listings, you'll have to pitch yourself and why you're a good fit for the project, and in this case, that's where the branding comes in, and you should provide information about your skill set and all of your past experience. Another key factor that really helped me out in landing projects and clients is stressing how important communication is and offering them a constant line of communication to you, and that will differentiate you from other people who won't be able to communicate as effectively as you can. And this brings us to the next thing that you must know as a freelance programmer, which is how to communicate effectively with clients. Believe it or not, there's a lot more business-oriented things that are involved in being a freelance programmer as opposed to a regular software engineer. A lot of the time, you're not just going to be programming, but you're going to have to be constantly communicating with clients via email or Zoom calls to make sure you're on the same page with the project goals. You should always keep in mind that this is a professional relationship, so you should keep the communication on a professional level. An important part of effective communication as a freelance programmer is making sure there's a mutual understanding of expectations. Without effective communication, there can be a lot of issues that arise with clients demanding more work than you signed up for in the first place or trying to constantly make changes, which is why what you need to do as a freelance programmer is you need to communicate with your clients very seriously. Moving on to the next thing that you must know as a freelance programmer about project timelines, deadlines, and contracts. One of the great things about freelance programming is you can work on multiple projects simultaneously for different people or companies. However, if you take on too many things at once as a freelance programmer, this can be very challenging. Over time, what I found to be most effective when sitting down with clients is to come up with project timelines for certain deliverables. For really small scale projects, you don't necessarily need to draft up any sort of contract, but when it comes to longer term projects, you should sit down, draft up a contract, and have certain deliverables and have timelines for those deliverables. This not only sets the expectation of exactly what you're going to work on for your client so that it won't change at any times, but it will also help you time manage the project. It's really important to stay organized and time manage properly as a freelance programmer, so I highly recommend project management tools like Notion or Jira. A benefit of being a freelance programmer is in most cases you'll get to work on these projects whenever you want, but it's important to manage your time wisely, not only for you so you can finish these projects in a timely manner, but also for the clients, because maintaining these timelines and deadlines is important for your reputation and credibility. And the fifth and last thing that you must know as a freelance programmer is how to continuously learn and keep learning new things. Unlike a traditional software engineer, you're not going to be working on the same thing day in and day out. You're going to be working on so many different projects, and you're going to see a ton of problems that you've never seen before. And you're going to have to figure out your own solutions on how to solve these things. Technology is constantly evolving, so you're going to have to keep learning to stay up with current software practices and current modern technologies that these projects want you to use. And speaking of staying up to date with current technologies, every freelancer should be using an AI assistant like ChatGPT or Google Bard. Just because you'll be running into so many problems that you haven't solved before, having an AI assistant to help you out throughout the process is really beneficial. It's also really beneficial if you're a freelance programmer doing web development. For certain projects, you should consider no-code solutions nowadays, like Wix Studio. In a lot of cases, when you're building for the web, it's better to use a no-code platform like Wix Studio nowadays because it saves money, it saves time, and it's easier to maintain. When you compare it to coding a full stack application from scratch and integrating APIs and building out sub applications within your project, a platform like Wix Studio makes it easier, where you could select from a bunch of templates that are made specifically for different business purposes. There's also just so many features integrated into these platforms now, like AI assistants, like AI responsiveness, like no code animations. And what's interesting with no code platforms like Wix Studio is when you go to these freelance programming project websites and you're looking at the listings, there's actually listings specifically asking if you can build these projects using no-code platforms like Wix Studio. So staying up to date with no-code and AI is really important nowadays. The continuous learning of things will offer you more opportunities as a freelance programmer to dive into a bunch of different projects, even if you don't have that much experience in them. And with the amount of information out there nowadays, it's not too hard to learn new things and jump in and take on new tasks. You can learn different skill sets just from taking things like online courses or watching YouTube videos. And as you learn new skill sets, you can apply those to different tasks at hand and jump into new projects and gain more experience. It's also great to learn and be up to date with modern technologies because projects will want you to incorporate these. So those are the 5 most important things that I think you must know as a freelance programmer to be successful. So whether you've been struggling to find a job, or you want to earn extra income on the side, or you just want to develop your skills, build your resume, freelance programming is a pretty great thing that a lot of engineers have turned into a full-time living. And if you get good enough, you can even start a company. If you're a freelance programmer, I'd love to hear your experience in the comments below, why you became one and what you think of it right now. I've done it for years and I love it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow here, guys, on this new channel. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.